Hey everyone, my name is Rooster and welcome back to Mechabellum. In today's video, it's going to be all about the enhancement module, and this game is gonna go quite long, so I'll try to keep track of the amount of profit that we make. But yeah, with the right cards, this can get out of control very, very fast, and my opponent is no stranger to it either. So yeah, here we go. Let's have a look at the packs. Aerial Specialist here for my opponent, and if I go over mine, they're not great. Mustang packs tend to struggle quite a lot in High Mamar, so not my favorite. Amp, Ball, Fang is playable, but a bit of a weird like early game where the Fangs and the Steel Balls don't really match up in terms of speed. So I'm going to go for the intensive training spec instead here with that Void Eye opener and the Spiders. This doesn't tend to perform that bad in the early game. It's still kind of hard to get those Void Eyes to work. I am trying to think of a new comp with this unit since it got buffed, but well, we'll see if it works. I'll try to test it a bit, and then maybe, just maybe, we'll have a video about it if it works. For now though, it is just going to be the Spiders in front of those Void Eyes. One of them we level because the additional DPS should help us against the Sabers, and then the Crawlers here behind as well. Pretty okay-ish matchup, I would say. Of course, Saber into Spider is quite Saber favored, but Void Eye is good into Saber, and it's quite good into the Hounds as well, which my opponent has. Went for double Crawler here, and pretty sensible round one setup. And yeah, you can see here, Void Eyes, they do one-shot the Hounds, and because there's multiple in the pack, they're not as easy to kill for the Sabers. And as I take out the enemy Chaff Clear, that should help me kind of take out these units. Although, as I say that, we lose the tower first. His Crawlers get to mine before I get to his. And we lose most of our units. Level 2 Void Eye here, getting stuck on the Crawlers, so it's not able to use that boosted DPS on the actual units that, well, need to get taken down with big damage. And, well, we only have 3 Void Eyes left. We're trying to work away at those Hounds, but from the looks of it, we're not even going to be able to take down one of these 2 Sabers, and it's a complete disaster here on round 1. Crawlers will get the other tower, but it's too little too late. And yeah, opponent there does take the first round. Round number 2, Photon Coating here shows up, picked up by my opponent. It's a nice, cheap item to add some effective hit points to something like a Saber. I imagine that his Sabers are quite close to leveling too, so might be able to grab a quick level next turn and even amplify that Photon Coating. And now, I could have gone for quick teleports, but looks like I didn't. I decided to skip, which leaves me with 450. And what do we do here? I kind of need to make sure that the units don't go to my tower. So either what I can do is try to put a Chaff unit here in the middle to pull these units inwards and away from my vulnerable tower, or I can try to kind of start stacking units a bit late to try and catch at least the Crawlers and perhaps level the tower so that's a bit harder to take down, and then when it does end up going down, we have to deal with less of a debuff. Now, opponent goes for Wasp. Actually thought about the Mustang, I can see now in the replay after the undo button is clicked. Goes for Wasp instead. I do the same thing. Because I was thinking, well, I don't really want to be playing Phoenix here. Seemed like I was kind of struggling a bit. We're going to go for this Crawler Beacon, which should pull a big amount of units. So this is the third option, I guess, which also involves pulling away the opponent units. But you can see here, the pull actually makes sure that, well, one, they go up, and then a big part of the units after that get pulled towards the middle. In fact, all of them now have realigned, and that means I won't lose my tower quite as fast. Left side tower, though, from the opponent has been leveled. That was another option, which he went for, and, well, sadly, my Wasps there get taken out almost entirely with that Wasp pack from the opponent still surviving. And that means that I run out of anti-air, so even though the pull was good, and we do get rid of all the ground units, sadly here, those Wasps from the opponent will be beating my army. But I think already here, we've done a decent job at limiting the damage. Things weren't looking too bad. I like that pull here. That seemed to be quite strong, so not too much to worry about. Round number 3, a deployment module picked up. My opponent does like to pick up the items quick, and I don't disagree with him here. That's a nice and cheap item to take, especially in these kind of volatile crossfire matchups. Being able to move around the map can be really, really useful, especially on a unit like the Wasp, which is so mobile, so fast, and can threaten towers quite effectively. Opponent's also managing to grab a level on that Wasp, by the way, so I'm gonna need to get a different source of anti-air, because my Wasps can't really contest. I could level it with the intensive, but might be a little bit too tricky to get into a Wasp fight here. And so what I'm gonna do here is pick up the deployment module as well and move it to the middle, because I could see that the left side tower now was already getting leveled, and yes, my Void Eyes have DPS, but it's gonna take a little bit too long, I think, to take this. And if the opponent invests even a little bit more in like chaff or puts a saber there, it's gonna be near impossible to really threaten that meaningfully. And so instead, I'm just gonna try and again pull these units towards this fang pack, kill the chaff, and then hopefully take care of those enemy units. Opponent uses a mobile beacon in return. Good way to make sure that not all of his units get pulled up here. And then bottom right, we see a crawler and a wasp flank coming in. But with this beacon, I'm not even sure this was necessary, because it looks like these units here will be getting to tower either way. Now, the middle, though, is looking quite good. Left side, Void Eyes. I did range them so that we have a little bit of an easier time staying safe behind the tarantulas. And with the levels, they're actually starting to get to a point where they can dish out quite a bit of damage. That does get a bit difficult, though, with that debuff and the flank coming in, with the crawlers overwhelming all of my units. And yeah, my wasps here, they're trying what they can, but the wasps eventually will win. And so that's another round going to go over to my opponent, as his wasps level once more. So level 3 potentially available now. And alright, we have finally the first pack of unit reinforcements, which has both Farseer and Typhoon in the mix. Those do allow me to deal with the wasps, so I'm going to go for Typhoon here. Could have gone for Farseer too. Farseer is probably a bit more versatile, where it has access to like cheap EMP and Photon, but in a one-to-one comparison into Wasp, it is worse than something like a Typhoon. And opponents here going to pick the Scorpions, so, well, maybe I should have gone for the Farseer after all. Although lucky for me, it doesn't seem to be on the correct side of the board. Now, this Typhoon, I do place it here to defend the flank. I know my opponent has a deployment module, so this might just move elsewhere. In fact, it likely will move elsewhere, but I was okay with this. There's a good chance I end up selling it eventually once I get a better, well, comp setup, because right now I'm kind of like in limbo. I don't really know what I'm going for. Yes, I'm playing Tarantula and like some Void Eye investment, but it doesn't feel like I have committed fully yet. So for now, this will sit here safely. It'll also catch the crawlers and the units that are coming into the tower from the front. And then maybe later on, if they become obsolete, we can sell them and reinvest them into something else. I'm going to go for a spider on the flank as well, because I can see there's some investment there with the, like the hounds, and some crawlers still do get pulled. Yeah, wasps, they do get moved. Some of them go to the flank, which means they will take out my tarantula. But the tarantula does spawn, and it should get rid of the hounds, the crawlers, and at least that is some value or some investment from the opponent that won't get to return to the main board. Void Eyes, you can see, doing a good job taking out level 2 sabers, taking out scorpions. But sadly here, this saber straight into my tower does get the lock, does get the debuff. Doesn't quite have the range from the looks of things to be able to shoot at the Typhoon though, so That does keep my high-level Typhoons a bit safe, although they also are struggling to keep up. Left side, we have a bit of a Wasp fight going on. We get the tower. That is crucial because that Saber, very scary for these Typhoon. My other tower falls. Opponent went for a Wraith. And there's still a full health level 2 Sabertooth incoming. So, well, I'd be quite confident winning the round if it was just the Wraith and the Wasp. I think we won't quite be able to win here with that level 2 Saber involved. And yeah, round 4 also goes over to my opponent. So we have yet to deal any damage. But here we go. Round number 5, Enhancement Module shows up. And, well, I am a training spec, so this is one of the best combinations you can get in the game. It can get even crazier, right? You can get another intensive, you can get quick cooldown. But this combination can get you so much money because you're guaranteed to be able to make a level every other turn. And what better unit to try and level than the Overlord, which is the biggest giant. And here we see my opponent also goes for the intensive, actually has the exact same idea. Of course, he doesn't have that other puzzle piece that I do have, the intensive training, but it is the biggest giant that can still carry an item and has the highest upgrade cost, 250, which becomes free with the enhancement module. And so, because units that are leveled with the enhancement module still have the normal cost of a leveled unit, you can sell them and basically make profit. Now, you do lose a deployment by doing so, but that's kind of worth it when you're making 250 for free every time you level one of these guys, right? It's also great on other giants, by the way. Fortresses, melters, what have you. Getting that 200, maybe even 400 a turn, if you manage to have multiple ones and some of them without the item leveled during the turn, you could just bounce around this thing and make so much money. So what I'm going to do here is sell the Typhoon because it allows me to get this double boat setup going. Intensive training is going to go on one of the boats with that enhancement module. So already here, 250 has been made. And we're going to try and keep track of how much we're making, right? And the reason I sell my Typhoon is because, well, it was kind of clear that he wasn't going to go for the Wasp play anymore. In fact, he actually sold it. And all I want here is for these Overlords to level. If I can get a level on this guy, or even both, that would be insane. But yeah, right side here, not performing too well. Actually, the boat gets a lock on. And still there are some crawlers left, so my boat's not shooting what I wanted to shoot at. Stuck on crawlers for now. We will get the debuff. Opponent is locked onto mine. Will we be able to close this out? Okay, one more shot, but the debuff has gone away. And oh, sadly, we don't quite manage there to get that kill on the Overlord, whereas his Overlord does manage to kill enough units to level. And, well, that is a bit sad because I was really hoping this would level, right? Didn't need both to level. That would be a bit much as we get a second enhancement module offered. This one, I'm not too sure if it's worth picking up. In fact, I think it probably isn't because you can only sell one thing at a time, right? And units can't carry 2 items, so you would have to somehow just keep this on one unit, which is way less good than being able to bounce one around and use the intensive and sell, etc, etc. So here, probably you pick something else. Absorption module is a great item for high-level Overlords as well, by the way, if you run the carry setup, so that could be a pick, but haste module is nice and cheap, so that's what we're going to go for. We still have our Wasps, so actually we're going to give that the haste module instead, because they are somewhat annoying to kill for my opponent. As you could see last round, they were actually killing the Overlord at the end. And now we have a bit of a difference. Opponent sells the Overlord, makes that 250 profit as well. And then replaces it with 3 boats and range. This is round 6, by the way. I mean, already we're having quite some cash influx. Both from the item, which for now kind of has just paid itself off. And of course from the early unit reinforcements, which were worth quite a bit. Opponent now actually also making some profit here on the Saber. So his profit now up to 350. We're still stuck on 250, sadly. This is why this is such a big deal, right? If this leveled, I would have been able to make 500 this turn. But instead, nope, we have to wait. Now, best case scenario for me would be that this levels this turn and this levels too. And then we have the intensive on top. to make a lot of money on the next round. I go for Overload instead because I felt like I kind of needed it to be able to, well, take care of the enemy chaff. Maybe I should have gone range in hindsight, but that's also knowing my opponent goes for the range first. I do have range on the tarantulas, so like my chaff here actually should have been somewhat fine. And yeah, you can see the range here is making some difference. Although I don't have any chaff left anyway. I've been investing a lot into bigger units, so probably this wouldn't have made too much of a difference. And, well, okay, opponent here actually using the haste module on the Overlord, I think a bit of an oversight, because that means he won't be able to profit off of this level. My Wasp are still alive, but they're worth a lot of experience, so actually, yeah, we do level another Overlord, and that means we will be able to bounce the enhancement to that unit instead. But, we lose the round, and we got exactly what we came for. Level on the Overlord, both of them. That means I already this turn will go from 250 profit to 750, make that 1,000 with the intensive, right? Suddenly, we've made 750 in one round. So we have a lot of things to do. Opponent also here, already up to, I think, 600. So we're ahead now, thanks to the intensive. And we're going to get a second tech on the Overlords. This is a unit drop round, by the way. Opponent going for Vulcan, which is sensible. Good pairing with the Overlord, kind of a classic defensive comp. And me, I could have gone Vulcan, but I have Spiders, and Spiders basically can chaff clear anything as long as you get the double tech in the late game with the high explosive. So I was thinking, well, what is annoying to deal with? And I thought, Rhinos are pretty fast. Overlords can miss their missiles. Maybe we can just run this into a tower. So we're going to just pick up those Rhinos. I did want something that I would have to sell, because obviously I'm busy selling my Overlords here. So I can't pick something that I want to sell because it delays the bouncing around of the item. So yeah, double level there on the Overlord. This is maybe a little bit risky, right? Because I am also selling a very high level unit. But it allows me to get into multiple Overlords and grab that second tech. I actually am floating a crazy amount of resources here, I realize. 750, I didn't really do the math. Didn't leave myself enough time. Okay, we grab a bunch of tower enhancements. Temp range, temp speed, armor on the Rhinos, break it into the left tower. We still are floating 300 here. But maybe I should have just gone for something like the level 2 Overlords there. And let's see, Rhinos actually are going to be able to get in from the looks of things. Right side tower, deployment module, those crawlers attacking my tower, so I will be losing that. But the Rhino gets to the enemy tower first. And hopefully, oh no, we are not quite able to defend our tower, so we lose ours as well. 7 seconds of debuff, we lose our Rhinos. We still have some boats left. Some Wasps are in the way too. I have to say these guys have been doing quite well. Despite feeding experience, they have been great frontline. And yeah, here you can see the boats able to get some levels again. So that's just going to accelerate the profit that we're making on the enhancement module. And finally, we get another round here, stringing 2 together. Or not 2 together, actually, but it is our second round win. Alright, more things to level. Additional deployment slot here is a lovely pickup. Because as I said, you lose a deployment whenever you sell something, right? It's irretrievable and you're capped with your deployments. So having this late game can allow you to kind of make up for the deployment loss from selling all of these big units. Which is fantastic, right? I would like more chaff, maybe some more tarantulas. Eventually, I'll just be able to spam Overlords like crazy because I do run a good carry tech setup. And a bit of a difference here. I run HE. My opponent runs Wasp Spawn, the mothership, which he does go for this turn. And okay, I'm no longer going to be following how much my opponent is making here from the thing. It's too much. We made 1,000 prior to this round, and I have already missed what we did. So I'm actually going to go back because I do want to, just for, you know, bookkeeping sake, I want to keep track of how much we're making. So we do pick the deployment module. We were up to 1,000 before this round. It doesn't look like we got the level on this guy. So that is not going to add to the total, and it will simply be a 1250. Next round, though, we have another intensive training round. If we manage to level the Overlord, we could make big bank again. It could be another 750 turn. HE now going to be picked up on the Tarantulas. I was talking about this, right? I didn't pick the Vulcan because I trust the Tarantulas in their capability of chaff gear, but I do need to invest into them a little bit. And I mean, we have so much money available. We can't really just be sad about 500, right? It's going to be good into the Crawlers, good into the Hounds, and it should allow the Overlords to kind of do their thing. Now, I buy, I think, 2 blue Tarantulas, also a blue boat there, so immediately going into the blue boats because my opponent is starting to get some pretty tanky big units, so the DPS seems like it would be meaningful. And again here we're going to go for left side. Oil being purchased from my opponent. He should set that on fire, which might help me. Oh, maybe we go beacon to the right side. Oh, okay, happy with that. Bit of a guess, right? Left side, right side. What do? Do you call the bluff? We're going to go right side. And this tower has been leveled, so lucky for us, there is a better tower debuff to be had over there if the Rhinos can get in. That is kind of the important caveat. And let's see. Can this Overlord level? It would need to take out quite a few Overlords, maybe this Vulcan, to be able to get the necessary experience. Getting stuck on some Crawlers here, that's not ideal. We'll take out the Vulcan. Won't quite be able to take out the boat. Those Wasps seems like they are doing a good job here of stopping me from locking onto the important units. We do grab the debuff at last. That's 9 seconds of debuff. That helps a ton here to be able to clear those Wasps. I still have this level 2 boat on the right side. Still have some fangs, so we should come out ahead. We do grab a level on this one. It looks like we'll be making 500 on the next turn. Alright, we get a unit reinforcement drop as well. Again, I want to sell my Overlords here, so I ideally pick something that I don't want to sell and that I can add to my board, which is going to be the Mustangs. Nice triple deployment. We can just range them. If they die, you know, so be it. But at least they should be a little bit useful, even if they just function as chaff for my true carries. Now, as I said, this turn, we didn't get the level on the Overlord that already had the enhancement, sadly. But we can still make 500 and go to 1750 money made with this item, thanks to the enhancement. So there we go. This time around, I mean, look, why one time am I leveling and selling the high-level unit? Why am I like keeping it? It's kind of up to a feeling in a way. Earlier on, I felt like level 1 boats had enough damage to do the trick. Here, I feel like a high-level boat actually could be beneficial because we could see that the opponent has a lot of level 1 boats, still mostly has level 1 boats, and that means that it might take a few more shots, a few more salvos for him to take out this Overlord, and that might make the difference between winning a round, losing it, or at least saving myself some hit points, right? The damage also is starting to get kind of significant with these high-level giants, so at this stage of the game, I felt like keeping a high-level boat around, but I'm still somewhat on the back foot, is helpful. Again, here we're going to go to right side tower. He didn't level it, so felt like that was a good target to go for. And the Rhinos this time around are going to take a bit of a longer path instead of going into the middle, where they are very unprotected against those Overlords. Might need to go HE here. HE should help with clearing those Wasps. My Mustangs not doing too bad, but of course they are food for the enemy Vulcans. And, ooh, actually, this is not looking too good right now. Boats in the middle, all dying. Luckily, I still have my big boat left, but I'm going to lose my tower for 9 seconds. Shooting at Wasp here. We're trying our best. If I can take down that Overlord, I'd be pretty happy, but we're going to be stuck shooting at Mustangs instead, and that's 4 boats plus a Vulcan left alive. That'll send us down to 660. Okay, well, that's not ideal. Lucky for me, though, we did grab another level here. Super heavy armor is available. I'm going to pick that up because I think my Rhinos can get some stuff done here. And, well, 182,000 hit points. Overlords, again, might miss some shots. We could even go for something like Rhino Boom here, which does scale off of the hit points. If that gets near the tower, it should just explode it, even if it's like level 3. This guy, 182,000 hit points, right, if we were to click it. Now, we make profit. Again, this does level. Up to 2k resources made now during the game. I could sell it and go up to 2.25, because there is a level available here. We are going to buy instead 2 more white overlords. Maybe I should have bought these in at blue. Clicking HE could be good as well. I am kind of getting stuck on wasps still. Oil going to get used. Opponent goes for the incendiary bombs on his Vulcans. It looks like I sold something else instead here. So we're just going to put this at 2k profit for now. And let's see, we're just stacking everything on the right side for now. Oil on the left to try and burn anything that goes through there. And then hopefully we can get to this tower fast. Because to me, this is the weaker side, right? There's not as many boats over there. The tower is unleveled. And yeah, here we go. Rhino going to try and get in. It doesn't have that final blitz. But it is exceptionally tanky. Some big boats though. We will chop the Vulcan just about. We won't quite manage to get to tower. Triple boats now. Okay, my high level 1, level 5. Instantly taking down that level 3. We do get tower debuff. Wasps spawning. That's not ideal, but I still have some Mustangs left to be able to help out with those. And now it's just going to come down to this level 5 overlord. 660. It needs to take out at least one. But it's going to take out both. And then level again. It is kind of crazy because you need a lot of experience to level this guy up, but here we go. Another enhancement module shows up. This time around, my opponent will pick it. I'm a bit surprised by that because there's a lightning storm involved too. And I feel like picking the lightning storm here definitely is the better choice because he only needs to win 1 round, right? He doesn't need more profit. He just needs to win 1. And so we do take the storm. We're not being greedy. That's 2.25 profit made. We have the intensive, so I'm sure it's going to go up to 2.5k. And yep, finally gets sold. Maybe a bit risky. It did carry the round, but I mean, look at how much money we have. 3k. It'll allow us to get into high explosive. I can even, like, if I want to, if I had the money, I could buy 4 blue boats here. Which actually I would have the money for, which is crazy. I think. No, actually, scratch that. Blue boats are, remind me, 750 a piece. Yeah, no, that wouldn't quite work out there with the mass recruit and the elite button, but we would have been close. 3 boats definitely is possible. And actually, yeah, here we go. 3 boats. That's what a 2.5k profit by round 11 will do. And so again, I'm gonna stack right side here. I mean, this is kind of just how carry boat works at some point. You just buy more boats, you triple tech them, like, that is kind of it. I actually didn't even triple tech them, mind you. No high explosive, I guess because I had the Mustang, and I do click the final blitz. Now, what I do here is I make sure that I only carry this Rhino into the beacon, because I don't want them to stand next to each other, right? If they're next to each other, they're going to damage one another when one of them dies. And there we go. Big explosion, gonna take down the tower, which was, I think, still unleveled. And I have some late boats arriving from my weak side. And while my opponent is way healthier, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 boats left alive. Yeah, that'll be plenty to seal the deal. So, a very sketchy game, kind of behind in the early game. Even in the mid game, we were struggling a little bit. That mothership was helping my opponent out quite a bit. We missed that crucial level up in the first round, where my opponent did manage to get it, but we had the intensive training advantage, and so yeah, it results in 2,500 extra resources across this game. This can get even crazier, but it's very hard to have long games that also involve all of the puzzle pieces, which is intensive, maybe a second intensive, quick cooldown, enhancement module, I mean, what have you. But yeah, still one of my greedier games, or at least one of my higher profit games. If you like this, please leave a thumbs up. Let me know down below what you think of the enhancement module. Is it something that you like using, that you know about this combination? Do try it out if you get your hands on it. And yeah, maybe we just have to be a bit careful about skipping intensive, because it is a definite possibility. Like, I have won and lost games off of picking intensive and then enhancement models showing up later, especially with carry boat. It is very, very potent. Anyway, if you liked this video, I mean, I already said it, but leave a thumbs up. If you want to stay up to date with my latest content, please consider subscribing. And if you want to see me play live, check me out on Twitch. With that being said, take care, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.